We've just had our first transfer window as Manchester United manager, and there was £1 billion spent. Yes, hello, welcome into Living Sports here for another episode of Glory Hunter on Football Manager 22. Here now with Manchester United. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. If you missed the last one, go and check it out. We had our first episode as Man United manager. We got given the job. We had a look at the squad. And it is going to be a big change from there because, as I say, £1 billion has been spent. We've only spent about 575 million. And we brought in about 425 million in this transfer window. So we haven't spent £1 billion, but there has been £1 billion spent. Huge upheaval here at Man United. I've got rid of a lot of the players that were in the team, and we brought in quite a few to replace them. That's all this episode is going to be, a transfer special. You can see the balance. We've still got 188 million in the bank. We're still fine for that. We don't have any transfer budget left. We've done all the signings. I think we've done all the selling we're going to do as well. So let's get into it and let's talk you through the transfer. So go through all the outs. I'll show you what the squad looked like because we did most of our sales before we brought anyone in, to be honest. And then you'll see the gaps that appeared in the squad after all my sales. And then we'll see how we filled them. So these are players you wouldn't have seen in the last episode because they'd already left before we came here, but they were part of the transfer window. Patrick De Paula, he'd been here for a few years, midfielder. Away he went. That was £20 million for him. And Graham Gebbe, who I think we talked about trying to sign in the past for one of the teams where I'm not quite sure. Scottish centre-back, went to Roma for 23. And now it's players you will remember. Isaac Tshbangu here, the Congolese winger. He went to Monaco. We sold him for £17 million. Marc Cucurella, 32 years of age now, the left wing back and winger, the Spaniard. He went to Juventus and we managed to recoup £24 million for him, which isn't too bad. I don't really think it's probably worth it. A young centre-back, Bojan Jovanovic here, £18 million we got him for. He really wasn't that good. He didn't class as a homegrown thing. We were struggling to meet our homegrown quota. So away he went. You will not remember half these names. I know, you've only seen them for one episode, but we got rid of a centre-mid called Maxim Mukhin, the Russian. He went to Lazio, 27 million basically. We bought him for 28, sold him for 27.5, and he played 22 times last year. Well, he's not going to play for us this year. Two right-backs were sold. They were both ageing, so they both left. Salamakers went to Inter Milan, £55 million we got for him. I feel that's a pretty decent deal for 31-year-old. And Dodo also went to SerieA. He went to Juventus. Again, we got, £30 million for him. Not bad again for a 31-year-old right back. Ageing. Happy to get rid of him. I then found someone in our youth team who, for some reason, young boys have paid £25 million for. Doesn't look like a £25 million centre-back to me, does he? No. I'll take that, though. I found another youth player. Does he look like a £25 million right back? I'm not sure, even at 20 years old anyway. He's away to Lokomotiv Moscow, Bazanella away. I just kept going through the youth team. There was a lot of players in there who are worth a lot of money and they were never going to get in the team, so I just thought I'd get rid of them. Goni here, Spanish striker, away to Basel, £12 million. It doesn't look like a £12 million player, but fine, they can have him. Another young player, he was maybe worth the £10 million that Baok paid for him, but happy to get rid of him as well. Two more big ones. I say big ones. One big one, one small one here. Harry Owen. Doesn't look that great. He's got good physicals, but that's about it. £7.5 million to go to Austria. Okay. And the last one was Marco Bertolino. I mentioned he was our kind of backup striking option. Well, we got £53 million for him to go to Southampton. He's probably worth that, maybe even more. I was happy to get rid of him, though he wasn't in the first team plans after some of the signings I'd made. So away he goes to Southampton. Hopefully that one doesn't come back to bite us. So that left our team looking like this. We had a fairly full, first 11. We didn't have a right back in the squad. That was a bit of an issue. Probably could have done with a starting central midfield player. We could have played Nico in that position if we needed to, but I thought we probably could do with a starting central midfield player. But I was pretty happy with the rest of the starting 11, but you can see the bench. we didn't have anyone there. We basically just got about 14 or 15 players, so we needed to make some signings, and that's exactly what we did. The first one, well, not technically the first one chronologically, but the first one I'll tell you about, it's a bit of a boring one. Pierluigi Collina. You'll think, sorry, Golina, not Collina. Collina was the referee, wasn't it? He's a 35-year-old Italian goalkeeper, and you're thinking, why have you signed him? Well, if you look at his information, he was trained at Man United. All the way down here in the early 2010s, that means, pretty usefully, he classes the homegrown at the club. Useful for European competition where you need 4 of them from the club. So he added to that. I was trying to add some more homegrown talent because we were struggling to meet those requirements. I needed a right back. Ideally, I'd liked an English right back. And this is a man who's currently playing right back for England. Tino Livramento. He came from Chelsea, then went to Southampton at the start of the game here. £5 million they paid for him. He's been playing there consistently, having very decent average ratings. We've paid £72 million for the man, and he's pretty decent on that right hand side. Can also cover in the rest of the defence if need be, and also further up the right hand side. Versatile player, good physical stats, nice technicals going forward, decent defending stats as well. 6'1", so a bit of height about him. I like him. £72 million is a lot of money, but probably worth it for the right back for the next 5 years. I'm hoping we won't still be here at Man United in 5 years, so he's going to be good enough for our time here. English as well. Useful for homegrown rules. This is somebody you might recognise. You might not. We bought Cedric Willert for Monaco last year and then loaned him back to Club Bruges, where he was from originally. Well, look at those statistics. He is pretty amazing. I would say attacking midfielder, we can also play central midfield, striker, left wing if need be. Obviously, we don't play with an attacking midfielder, so I think he's probably going to be our backup striker. I know it's probably not his best position, but I think he's going to be a backup striker for us. I mean, when you can see a player like this as a backup player, you know quite how good the squad is. We did pay £82 million, which is a lot of money since we only paid 27 last year. As Monaco, we've spent a lot of money on him. He's pretty good. 22 years of age, playing for Belgium, solid player. Will be one of the backup options in the attacking positions for us. And you didn't think I was going to go to a club with lots of money and not sign this man, did you? Mamadou Niang, the Frenchman. Look at that, 13 appearances for France and 14 goals. That's crazy. He's going to be playing off the right-hand side for us. Him and his French counterpart, Mikel, are going to be the ones playing from that right-hand side, having a fight there. Maybe he'll play up front as well at some point in the season. We paid £79 million for him. Double what we paid for him at Monaco a couple of years ago. You can remember how good he was for us at Monaco with all those goals and assists. Hopefully, he can do the same here at Man United. We also made what I think was quite an astute signing. Wilfred Ndidi, 33 years of age now, defensive midfielder and central midfielder. Still very, very decent. Nice mental stats. Physicals aren't bad for someone who's 33. Not too bad technically either. He's only cost us £14.5 million. He's been a solid starter for Leicester for the last 10 years, 15 years it looks like there. He's good. He's solid, and as a option off the bench or a rotation option to play in that defensive midfield role, I think he's very, very good indeed. Wilfred Ndidi coming here, £14 million. I think that's a bargain. Another man who we signed, we have already signed him twice, so why not sign him 3 times, is Maximilian Thielmann. I like Thielmann. His stats might not jump off the page to anybody. They might not be amazing compared to others, but I've been really, really impressed when I've used him. So we signed him as another kind of option in midfield, but also can cover at the back if need be. Very versatile. Great to have on the bench for us. Solid player. We did pay £57 million, which is double what we paid for him when we were at Monaco, and we paid 6 times what we paid for him at Monaco when we were from Villarreal. We've already bought him 3 times in his career, but I think he'll be a solid option. Won't be a starter here. He was a starter at Monaco and eventually became a starter at Villarreal. He'll be a backup option for us, but 24 years of age, can develop. Solid player. I like him, and he's coming to Man United. One man who really annoyed me when I was at Monaco was Edward Stansfield. He was a young English central midfielder playing for PSG, so I thought, why not just buy him? And that's exactly what I've done. He's English as well, helps with the homegrown cohort here. Will be playing in midfield for us alongside Jude Bellingham, so we get the young English talent in there. I know Bellingham's not so young anymore. We paid £90 million for him, which is only just £9 million more than PSG paid for him last year. He played 1 year at PSG and he's come back to England initially from Sheffield United. hopefully he can have a very good year for us. He's already got 3 goals and 2 assists in the 4 friendlies he's played in so far. So let's see how he gets on for us. Look at those physical stats. Brilliant. Nice mentals as well. He's got good technicals in those positions. Defensively, he's not great. He's going to play in the advanced playmaker position for us in central midfield. Probably better as an attacking midfield player, but we'll play him. That advanced playmaker almost acts like an attacking midfielder in our system. So hopefully he does well going forward, creates a few chances, scores some goals. We signed another one from Monaco. I know you say I keep signing players from the clubs I was already at, but the reason I do that is because at the clubs I was already at, I've signed such good players. The only way to get the really good players is to go to the club that I was at before where all the good players are. It's as simple as that. We paid a lot for Trinonso Mustafa, 19 years of age. Remember we signed him for £6.5 million as Monaco. Played 20 games last year. £123 million we've paid. It's not all up front. Lots of instalments. He looks really, really good though. Look at those physicals. Look at those mentals for someone who's 19. Heading, tackling, marking is brilliant. He can only improve. He's going to be a solid option here, and he's happy to be a backup. That's the important thing. He's going to develop into someone amazing. 6'5". I love that. 6'5". Huge. And the last signing is another English player to add to the homegrown cohort, and it's cover at both right and left back. We had Livramento on the right. We had Wijndal on the left. Sorry, Wijndal, I think that's how you pronounce it. And that was it. We didn't really have a huge amount of cover in those positions. So Tariq Lamptey can cover on both those sides. So that's going to be very useful indeed. We signed him from Newcastle United, £48 million. He's been a solid fixture for them since he moved there from Brighton. Very good physically. He's solid enough. Happy to be a backup player as well for us. Can cover either side off the bench. Solid, useful. Tariq Lamptey to the squad. So with all those additions, that means this is what the squad looks like. Henderson in goal, Fofana and Guindo at centre-back, Livramento on the right and Wijndal on the left, Rovella, Bellingham, Stansfield the midfield 3, and we're going to go with Michel, Sancho and Rashford as the front 3. We still have Willert, we've got Niang, we've got Nusa on the bench as well to come in there. We do still have Victor Osimhen. He said he wanted to leave and then he changed his mind and then he got himself injured. So he's out for a while, but we do have him as another attacking option if need be. That's a very, very solid squad. The bench here you can see Mustafa, Lamptey, Thielman, Ndidi, Nico, Niang, Nusa, Willert. That's a solid bench as well as this solid team. This team's good enough to win all the competitions we need to this year. Hopefully we can do it with Marcus Rashford leading the line, Jadon Sancho, Stansfield, Bellingham, Livramento, Henderson. You can see there are 6 English players in that first 11. Which is useful, as I say, for that homegrown cohort, certainly of the squad. So that's very, very useful indeed. And this is going to be a very exciting season here in charge of Man United. So you can see our friendlies, we've won all of them quite comfortably, and we're going to advance on a little bit through the season, not show you the first few games. As you say, we played Blackburn, Brentford, West Brom, Southampton, Everton. We'll have a Champions League game around about this time, and that's, I think, when we're going to come back. We'll show you how we've gone at the start of the season. We'll show you our Champions League group, see who we get in that, and play that first game alongside the game. I think it comes between Southampton and Everton there, so maybe the Champions League and Everton, or the Champions League and Southampton, something like that. We'll show you how we're getting on in the first few games of this Premier League season. So if you have enjoyed this one, £1 billion transfer window, then please leave a like on the video. It really does help us out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until the next one, this is going to be that first Champions League group stage game here with Man United. We'll see you then.